Biden is making the podcast rounds. Yes, I wonder if we can get him on this show. I'm going to tell you, I would love to sit down and talk to Hunter Biden. I think that would be fun. I've said this 100 times. You guys cannot post videos of Hunter Biden high on cocaine, driving 100 miles an hour, and not expect that to be like an attack piece on him, and not expect the average dude like me that likes to drink beer and watch football to think that's fucking cool. Now, he's done some other stuff that I was going to approve of, but that, like, you're going to post, look at Hunter, like, everything they post about him is like, it shows how out of touch these politicos are on both sides. Everything they post about him, it's like, yeah, that actually looks pretty cool. It's like, do you see Hunter Biden having a threesome with these 2 Ukrainian supermodels? Oh, no. Like, anyway, Hunter Biden's making the podcast circuit. And it's the same thing, like, there's like a 5-hour compilation of Alex Jones ranting somewhere on YouTube. And it's it's supposed to be like an attack piece, but it actually makes him look funny. Like, it makes him look cool, right? It's funny. So Hunter Biden made the podcast round, and there's a specific, I don't know what this show is. I don't recognize it, but which means maybe we have a chance if shows nobody's heard of or taken the interviews here. But this guy, we've just got clip after clip. I'm just going to let him roll. Here's Hunter Biden's opinion on George Clooney. By the way, if you ask him, sober Hunter Biden. He's been sober for a number of years. You be the judge as to whether or not he's telling us the truth here.
Opinions, but fuck him.
This is George Clooney he's talking about.
Fuck him and everybody around him. I don't have to be fucking nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. Fucking George Clooney is not a fucking actor.
He's trying to outcuss Newsom here.
He is a fucking, I don't know what he is. He's a brand. And by the way, and God bless him. You know what? He supposedly treats his friends really well. You know what I mean? Buys them things. And he's got a really great place in Lake Como. And he's great friends with Barack Obama. Fuck you. What do you have to do with fucking anything? Why do I have to fucking listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his fucking life to the service of this country and decide that you, George Clooney, are going to take out...
Remember what we said about people who every other word they use being the F word is a sign of low intelligence, that well-placed F-bombs can be a very effective means of communication, but when it's every other word, it shows it's a filler word and you don't actually know how to speak. Keep that in mind.
Basically a full-page ad in the fucking New York Times to me and James Carville, who hasn't run a race in 40 fucking years, and David Axelrod, who had one success in his political life, and that was Barack Obama. And that was because of Barack Obama, not because of fucking David Axelrod. And David Plouffe, and all of these guys, and the Pod Save America guys, who were junior fucking speechwriters in, on Barack Obama's Senate staff, who have been dining out on the relationship with him for years, making millions of dollars. The Anita Dunns of the world, who's made $40, $50 million off the Democratic Party. They're all going to insert their judgment over a man who has figured out, unlike anybody else, how to get elected to the United States Senate over 7 times, how to pass more legislation than any president in history, how to have a better midterm election than anybody in history, and how to garner more votes than any president that has ever run. And they're going to replace their judgment for his.
Not to mention...
Who's Jake Tapper's audience? Jake Tapper...
My mom or something? I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
For real, though. I don't even think it's your mom anymore.
No.
By the numbers...
He sounds like a nasally Biden. Like, copy-paste Biden's voice, but, like, tune it up a little bit on a higher pitch.
Influence does Jake Tapper have over anything? He has the smallest audience on cable news. And beyond that, I think that the book is right now on Amazon that he put out. I mean, his ratings just went to shit after he put the book out. You know, they did a 2-week infomercial for it. I mean, it was such a money grab, such a disservice to everybody that he serves with.
So this guy doesn't sound like a Democrat to me. He sounds like an independent who's gearing up for some type of move that he's going to make. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's going to write a book, he start a podcast, run for office. God, I hope Hunter Biden runs for office. Even if it's a small one, I hope he runs for office. But he doesn't really sound like a Democrat. Because Democrats, they don't really... If you want a future in Democrat Party politics, we all know you don't step out of line. You don't criticize the slave masters, right? So... I wonder what his angle is here. He's taken like 3 or 4 different interviews on and just went scorched earth, nuclear unleashed on him. Here's what he had to say about white voters here.
And he's somehow convinced all of us that these people are the fucking criminals. White men in America are 45 more times likely to commit a fucking violent crime than an immigrant. And the media says, well, you got David Axelrod and, Rahm fucking Emanuel. So fucking...
That's also because there's a lot more white men here. So we forget per capita, but okay.
Smart Rahm Emanuel. He said, we got to understand that these people are really mad. And we got to appeal to these white voters. Rahm, the only people that fucking appealed to those fucking white voters was Joe Biden, 81 years old. And he got 81 million votes, and he did not because he appeased their fucking Trumpian sense, but because he challenged it. And he said, you can be an 81-year-old Catholic from fucking Scranton that doesn't understand it, but still has empathy for transgender people and immigrants. And then nobody said, oh, Joe Biden's going to turn us into a socialist state, no matter how much they said it. But these guys think that we need to run away from all values in order for us to lead. I say, fuck you. How are we getting those people back from fucking El Salvador? Because I'll tell you what, if I became president in 2 years from now, or 4 years from now, or 3 years from now, I would pick up the phone and call the fucking president of El Salvador and say, you either fucking send them back or I'm going to fucking invade. It's a fucking crime what they're doing. He's a fucking dictator thug.
Bukele or Trump?
Both.
If Hunter Biden, you heard it there, if Hunter Biden's president in 3 years or 5 years or however many fucking years, he's going to invade El Salvador. Does that sound like a man who's sober from crack cocaine to you? That sounds like every... That sounds like every crackhead out there if they ran for office. That sounds like something a crackhead would say. It's something random like that. We're going to invade El Salvador. What an insane thing to say. That's what it's... So he's... Let me get this straight, Hunter. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for him. He's out here on the front of the issues. We've got the lady that wants to fight for the permafrost and the guy who wants to abolish tipping in restaurants here in Omaha. Or then we've got nationally, we've got Hunter Biden who wants to invade El Salvador. So let's break this plan down. You're going to use American troops, American lives, send them into a foreign country. Forget the ramifications of the regional politics of invading El Salvador or how the rest of the international community would react to it. Let's just talk the micro. You're going to take American troops, American citizens, send them over to a foreign country to bail out prisoners from another country and bring them back to the country for which they were in illegally from the get-go. This is crackhead populism. I love it. It does. It sounds like if you went and pulled random drug addicts and homeless encampments downtown, you're like, so if you were president, what would you do? I would invade El Salvador. What a random, crazy thing to say. Wait till you hear how he explained. Wait till you hear how he explained his dad's debate performance that we all watched live here on the air.
I know exactly what happened in that debate. He flew around the world, basically, the mileage that he could have flown around the world 3 times.
Yeah.
He's 81 years old. He's tired as shit. They give him Ambien to be able to sleep. He gets up on the stage, and he looks like he's a deer in the headlights.
Ambien. Hunter, with your background, you know that was not Ambien. They may have given him Ambien, but the reason he acted that way was not the Ambien. First, we heard it was a cold, that it was, it's been everything under the sun, right? Also, I hate to break it to you, buddy, but if he can't fly that much in a day and go out and put out a normal performance at his age, he shouldn't be president. He doesn't have the wherewithal, the stamina to be president. That's all there is to it, man. And look, I almost admire this. I do admire this in a weird way because he's being defensive of his dad. And I think loyalty to your family is important. But at some point, you've got to be able to face the music and be like, look, We bit off more than we could chew. We had a damn good run. We got further than 99.999% of the population could ever dream of in their entire lives. And just let it go there. Just leave it. Like I was talking about earlier in the show, take the points and move on, man. Don't keep digging your heels in and let this whole thing define you. You know, it's just like, at some point, you just got to admit you fucked up. They could only bird box people and cover their eyes for so long until they saw it for what it was. That wasn't Ambien. Ambien's what makes people freak out on the plane. That motherfucker is not real. That's what Ambien does. Ambien doesn't make you walk up there and look like the Walking Dead on stage when you're having a bad reaction to Ambien. I would know. I haven't had them, but I've seen people had them or have them. All right, let's go to the next video here. Here's who Hunter Biden blamed for the cocaine they found in the White House while his dad was president.
I think they're opening up an investigation to cocaine that was found in a cubby outside the West Wing of the White House.
I think it was Don Jr.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about old White House?
Yeah, when my dad was there.
Oh, so they just got to blame you automatically.
Yeah, I mean, they're literally going to do an FBI, another congressional investigation.
Well, I mean, if we're at a dinner party and one of the people there is a convicted murderer and somebody gets murdered, who are we going to point to first? If my wife's wedding ring goes missing at a party at our house and one of our friends has been caught on video over a dozen times stealing from various places at the mall, and they happen to be at that party, who do you think we're going to call first?
Because they've convinced themselves that it had to be me, that there was a little tiny, and I guess my point of even bringing it up is that no. I have been clean and sober since June of 2019, and I have not touched a drop of alcohol or a drug, and I'm incredibly, incredibly proud of that.
And why would you bring cocaine to the White House?
Why would I bring cocaine to the White House, stick it into a cubby outside the Situation Room in the West Wing when I wasn't there? Anyway, who the fuck knows?
And politicians, I mean, they do blow, right?
I testified before the House Oversight, Judiciary, and Ways and Means Committee. It was a whole big family shindig on the Republican side. All of them showed up, from Marjorie Taylor Greene to Lauren Boebert to Matt Gaetz to, they're all sitting there. Now, none of them had the guts, except for a couple at the very end, to ask me any questions. At one point, in the 7 hours that I was being deposed, in which, by the way, I demanded that they do it in public, and they refused, and the reason is because they're fucking morons. Matt Gaetz, of all people, was giving me shit about my drug use. I said, really? All the people at this table, you're gonna talk to me about my addiction, my alcoholism? And I said, how many of you have had your own experience with alcoholism and addiction? Because I knew at least 4 or 5 people.
Everyone on the planet, whether they know it or not, has had a firsthand experience with an alcoholic or drug addict. To be clear.
In that room on the Republican side that were in recovery. And I knew of 3 that have been accused credibly of being drug users. And I knew that every single one of them had somebody in their family that was absolutely facing a serious drug problem.
You know what? They may have been in recovery, but they weren't going on podcasts and throwing fits while shaking back and forth and twitching and throwing all this profanity out like you were. Just putting that out there. Now, there's one last video we wanted to show. Here's where Hunter reminisces upon. When you do podcasts, you like to bring people on that are experts on different subject matters. But here's where Hunter reminisces upon the one thing in which he is an expert on, which is crack.
No. Do you know what I mean?
Well, because they think cocaine, Scarface, very cool. Yeah. Crack cocaine, they think The Wire.
Oh, in that sense? Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? They don't know how similar the chemical compounds are.
Well, the only difference between crack cocaine and cocaine is sodium bicarbonate and water.
He just rattled that off just with ease.
And heat, literally.
That's it?
That's it.
And those things are pretty much free if you go to like a science store.
This is free. You can go to your neighborhood convenience store
Well, you hear him starting to twitch. He just can't stop thinking about it right now.
and just get. Anyway, I don't want to tell people how to make crack cocaine, but it literally is a mayonnaise jar, cocaine, and baking soda.
How different is the experience?
It's vastly, vastly different. And like for real, I feel really reluctant to kind of have some euphoric discussion. I know you're not asking me to do that, but have some euphoric discussion about crack.
Well, I feel bad laughing at this because I got ties to the issue, but he sounds like a dog salivating over a steak right now. This sounds like one of those commercials where it's like for a restaurant or something.
No.
Shit.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, because they think cocaine's
It sounds like it's one of those commercials for like a restaurant where they're like the brand new T-bone, like, you know what I mean? All right, play the rest of it.
I feel really reluctant to kind of have some euphoric discussion. I know you're not asking me to do that, but have some euphoric discussion about crack cocaine.
I think this might be kind of the opposite here.
Okay, no, it's the exact opposite. I'm saying I don't want to have the experience of some euphoric recall. That's how powerful crack cocaine is. Does crack cocaine make you act any differently? No. Is it safer than alcohol? Probably. People think of crack as being dirty. It's the exact opposite. When you make crack, what you're doing is you're burning off all the impurities so that it combines with the sodium bicarbonate, which makes it smokable. That's all. You know, all of these actors and, you know, people in the past that talked about they had a problem with cocaine and freebasing. They were smoking crack.
So straw on the stove is the same thing.
Not exactly, but close to it. But it's a little bit different. But anyway.
It's always good to hear from the experts, folks. And that was Hunter Biden, the world's foremost expert on crack cocaine. All right, we got
Youths.
Let's do as many as we can. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.